Can we do this a little bit in the dark? Ronnie, where are you, Ronnie? Don't call me Ronnie. It's Ronald. No, it's Ronnie. No, I saw the paper you got. They put capital letters. Capital letters? What am I, a company? Who am I? I'm the company. I'm a company. Who I am, I'm myself. I'm the suit. The suit I wear is who I am. Is that not what I put on of who I propose to say of who I am? I was looking at something, and I was looking at words with add-on endings. E-R, I-N-G, E-D, and E-S. E-S is just the S because that's the sound inside the S family. D is reversed to ED instead of the word D to DE is the sounds. So you have to connect this E to your D. But I'm going to say add on. Artificial intelligence. A and I, 1 to 9. Add on. How about Adonai? How about the name of God? There's many names of gods. Can we look at this in a different compassion? Can I say the word compassion? I'm not really good with my English. In fact, I really don't know too much at all. I don't even know how to talk properly. I don't know how to express myself. But the only thing I just do know how is to tell you that I'm talking from my heart what I believe. I'm not going to tell any of you I hate you because I hate nobody. But to what I will do is to share what is really what we actually need is the truth of the understanding of how we all think so differently, how we all see things will never, ever, ever be perceived the same way how you see how another can understand. It can only be close. The only way for it to be exact, okay, I won't even get into that. We're going to go back to this. One side of the world goes this way. The other side of the world goes this way. The other one goes this way. This is a plateau. This is a plateau, and this is the plateau. So it doesn't matter if it's the Royal Plateau, MTL 43, MT 423. 423, Montreal in abbreviation is MTL. That's 423. 423 is 261 and a half. 261 and a half. Which is actually connected to the Mayan time calendar, the way I do it, the way the story I made up, that it's only reality is only what I believe, but I'm sharing it with myself, because I'm looking inside the camera. Well, I can't see anything in the camera, but when I look at the screen, I see me. I must be talking to myself and telling you what I believe, and it's not bullshit. It's what I believe, unless you want to talk my bullshit. Why? Because bullshit, isn't it? Is it as sloppy as limousine cow shit? Because it's how you think. Every organism, until it's used up, you need it. You keep all of your excrements in your body until you finish using it. Then you go to the bathroom. Haven't you figured out yet when you got a bellyache, you can have a trouble thinking? When you're getting laid in bed, you have trouble thinking again. So getting late and going to the bathroom have something in common, okay? And I keep thinking that every time this fish swim out, you lost part of your part of your what's it called, memory. So this becomes Adonai, add on, okay? We're not going to go to the record player. We were talking about different levels. This, the French verbs, Spanish, English. Then we're going to jump over to different reasons we talk Hebrew. We see the word Aleph as the first letter A, and you can write it out. So we can take that word Aleph, write it out, and use it for EF, which is the sound of EF, and AL, right? Because she is EL and he's AL. Angel life. Then we have Greek, because everybody makes the thing that this is from backwards or from behind. They're talking about the ass. So we bring that in and remember that and know that all the letters at the same time have their own sounding values. And then the sounds from Asian. If somebody says wonton, it's got to mean 1 ton. 1 ton is 2,000. A ton is 2,000. If it was the Mayan ton, T-U-N, it'd be a nut. Okay? It can also be the crisscross transunion of the UN. T, take away the T, you got UN. Now you see what has been happening, what I have seen, is that different words from the previous worlds or from the old worlds are being remanufactured inside new things. So ton, they would mix it up with not for because it comes in two parts, and so does the ton. It's split up into metric, so it's 1,000 kilos, which is more even, and 1,000 is comparable to 250. What you get in juice is the daily recommended amount. There's just so much, but the French verbs, the j'ai, and the je suis, the two verbs. Something like wise or Swiss. Suis, or to suivre, is to follow. This is the first part of the verb. This is the second part of the verb. Okay, now we're just going to do something else a little bit different. Terminus was on an old planetarium. There was a terminus, and this is a bus stop. So an old planetary stop, a prime, an epic story, an empire. I'm just brushing out things, okay? What I want to talk about over here, okay, is 2 times 3. 2 plus 3 is 5 and 6. 1 times 5, 1 plus 5 is 5 and 6. Both equal to 11. 11 and 15, 26 is the cage, the dog. This is the dog. 23 and 11 is 34. This is your DC power. Together it makes your 60 seconds on the clock of 2 islands. It's 6 and 6. It's 2 islands. It would be 616. This will end up saying 44 at the end. 103, which is Mercury, which is also an addition of Earth 52 and Mars 51, 103, is in the 60 seconds. And again, the DC power. 43 to 34, 60 to 60. They both come connected together back to 11 and back to Mercury. Okay? 1 plus 2 equals to the 3. But 4 and 5 equals only to 5. Because this 4 goes into the 4 corners of 5. And the only one that counts is the 4 and 1. This is not a 5. This is a 4 and a 1. This is a 4 and a 1, 5. It's a 4 and a part 1. This is the 6. It's 2 and a 4. Because 2 corners are doubled. This would be the 6. This is the dog. We double over from the other world. The difference is 4. So we, okay, 2 and 4. Your difference of 4, that makes your 6. Okay, and your 2 plus 4 equals 4. Because on the 4 and on the 2, they go into each other. Unless you're calling for the house of the fox, you do this to it. See the way? You see the way you can see all the 4 corners in there? Now you got 2 different kinds of worlds. Now you put this like this. Excuse me, you put this one like this, okay? And this one like this. Hold on a second. Let me look at that. Yes, this way. See, this is straight up, and that's not. So that 4 would make a 6. See, but I stick it in the 6, right? But these dots go overlap the 2 sides. So it's not the same kind of 6. It's not the same kind of 6 as this 6. But if you took, now this is amazing what I'm going to show you. But if you took this 2 and you put it up against this 6, you see the way the dots show on that side, the dots show on that side? It turns that 6 into a 4 and a 2. So it switches the images. Now, the only reason I'm telling me this is because that's what I see. That's it. Did I tell you anything? Did I teach you anything? Am I supposed to be teaching anybody? No, I'm teaching myself. And I'm sharing how I talk to myself to see what I think. Now, is there a reality to it? Yes, because one is a 90 degrees perpendicular, not 180. Well, it's 180 would be on its side, right? It's a 90 degree, be straight up and down, right? And this shoved in the center is an 8, but it's a 2 and a 6 8. It's not just a whole 8, because you can't make the whole 8. This is the top, this, not that one. Different areas of the world, different sides. If I take this and this, right? This and this is in the center. Okay, this and this are in the center, and then this one and then this one. This would create the N letter. Okay, this would be in the center, and then you'd have your passage going from here to here. Your crisscross passage went from here to here. Is there anything else? I don't know if that I really said that much. Let me look back a little bit. We did the train. We did the King of the Road. I wanted to go back to this again. Okay. or this becomes T to Z. 26 and 20 is 46. 46 ends up becoming this. 4 times 6, 4 plus 6 equals 24 and 10, 34. So this will now be 68. If you understand the concept, If you want to understand something else, this is 163 because the 0 equals 6. That'll be 163. 613. Let's go play football. Football season is beginning very soon. Raphael 7286 in a constellation of Pegasus. I say. I say. I say. You say what I say. Don't say what I say because I told you to say what I wanted you to say. You say whatever you want. We are just a whole bunch just swimming around together, everybody finding and connecting with a different answer. And if we don't, we sit here until we hear, because we're all going down the same road for the freedom that comes in peace. And because we come in pieces and molecules and atoms by thousands and billions and trillions of pieces, we must have everything by the piece. So we can remove that small little piece that does no longer conform and throw it where it conforms. Everybody goes, every element, every electricity, every water, every oil, when you throw it, if you hit the water in the oil, the water will go one way, the oil will go the other way. Eventually they'll find themselves, they swim together. They're almost like living beings, depending. Otherwise, some of them, they mix. And the colors change, and the elements change, and the whole syrup changes. Otherwise, it could be a skip over the rock. Just a vibration on the paper, causing a little energy to move at the other side, transforming a little bit over until everything starts to go. Because when everything is going, it's moving, it's living, it's living. But when everything stops, it turns into some sort of a mulch until one day it's forced. It's forced to break apart like a plant in a rock. Eventually that seed is going to go through that rock and break up that plant. And then it's going to force. But there's spirit, which personally I believe it has to do with science. And then there's soul, which has to do with that water effect that doesn't go into the oil. It's a science. So now we have all these scientific labs right now, and because they're doing it in the scientific labs, making all these things that they could have, that's the part of that spirit world, the science from that spirit world. Things we should never, we don't know what's going to happen if we've never tried it before. And we do it because if we don't boil the tea, if we don't freeze something, there is an effect that will not take place. So we purposely freeze it. We purposely heat it and melt it and cut it so that it can transform. People of choice. Nature is of choice. But is there a stop and go? Yes, but it's a natural stop and go, the way we think it. But I'm still thinking that in order for anything to exist, at the beginning, certain things just like for me, yes, there is one thing. I found something. Space. Space. Between my two hands, there's nothing there, but it owns a coordinate. And all of a sudden, there's something there. So in the same coordinate, in that space or area, this pen is taking up exactly the volume that is no longer free. Regardless the number. The reality is it was once an empty space. And the reality is now there's a pen. But now there's not. But who cares? We do care in a way, because if the spirit world is calculating everything that moves to wait till everything becomes unbalanced, who will make the corrections? The corrections will not be made by this side. It must be made by those who are in the living transformation. So they will know that they have to move. That's why in this universe, I believe we're in some kind of dome, and we're traveling all the time, and we're inward and outward spirals, because I think we're always going to really around the same area. And we go in, out, in, out, in, out. And we're winding all the time because for some reason in science you need to keep things moving. You need to shake whatever it was. So you shake it. 1515 was on the video. So anyways, we're going to leave that at that, right? One of the last things I wanted to show you is this over here. Okay? Oh yeah, blue mercury. That's what this comes out to, blue mercury. Okay? This is Jack of Creation, blue mercury. This is March 10th to October 3rd. This year it ends on October 4th. 10-4 is when everything began. 103, 104 is next. 52 and 52, 104. Instead of 52 and 52, 104, you go 25 and 79. 7 and 9, the gateway of the birth. You reverse everything to see how it gets where it goes. Okay? Then you bring them into the three different worlds of 7, 10, and 13. Now when you go back to the piano before we go, Terra Nostra. Tear, to rip apart. Tear is a drop. It's only one part of the yin and the yang. The resident angel, the electronic world, the transmission between the two. Tree, T-R-E-A, and T is in the words. Our sun, the tree of life. In the piano-based keyboard, you actually don't start till C. Well, if you start at C, you end at A. C and A and C is the exact same way. 13, 31. 11 times 11 times 11. 11 times 11 times 11 times 11 is 14, 6, 14, or 41, something like that. Which 14 actually equals to 1/4, because 14 is 1 and a 4. Just put a slash in between. You got 1/4 of 6 of 1/4, which is 25,625 of the Mayan calendar. Is the same thing as 11 times 11 times 11 times 11, where 14 equals 1/4. 25. C to A, D, E, F, G. G-A is how it begins, okay? So we stop on D, E, F, and right here we show why we're in jail, and this is the vibration in the house of AC. Jail in the house of AC. It says it right here. The other things, when I look at this, take a good look. Doesn't it look like a hamburger? Forget about, this is a hamburger of something. If you make this is, don't forget, I'm writing flat. You only see what my pen can do, but if I stop my pen before I get to the line, I have to go over the line. How can I get past the line? The minute you see it past the line, you know it's an outside of a design. I'm going to show you how it works. Let me show you one more time what I'm talking about. Okay? Let me show you. You never want to go over the line, right? So we did this, right? Now, we want to make the hamburger. So how are we going to make the hamburger? We said we're going to do this, and then do this, and then do this, and then do this to the top, and then you do this to the bottom over here if it went, and then you'd have to go on this side again, and this. You'd end up with this line. This is on the inside, but the minute you get to here, the minute you get to here, this is on the outside. Do you understand? This is on the outside of the inside this is the inside, but then becomes the outside. But regardless to that, take a look at what you end up with. You end up with number 2. The other way, if it falls down the other way, you end up with number 5. Okay? So this has multiple uses. The more lines you put on it, the more values or different values that you would have. And if you take a look, it turns into a 3 and an E. At the same time, here's your piano note inside, as well as the 5 and the 2. The only one you really don't see inside here is the 4. But I know if I put a little eye over here, I can turn it into a shark's mouth here, and a shark's things over here, and this is the shark. Okay, so you can do a lot of things. All you got to do is just follow the natural way of what the reality is of the image and how to use its distortion. It comes to us distorted. We have to rebuild it. All we see is the skeleton. Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. I wanted to end this video at 1963, but that's when it actually all began, 1963. I figured Jack would come in. I'd say 10-4. I'd say, okay, that was the day of birth. But my name is not Jack, but this is my story. Thank you for watching.